This is the army of northeastern Virginia. This is the army that loses at the Battle of First Bull Run or Manassas. It's still being kind of mustered, so I won't have to deal with it for 3 turns, but I'm hoping not to lose the Battle of Manassas. And McDowell isn't a great general, but I think the loss at Manassas is blamed unfairly on him. He had a decent plan, but there was no way he was going to be able to pull it off. It was this really Napoleonic plan where he was attacking from multiple directions, and the Union Army just couldn't handle it. They just weren't disciplined or organized enough to pull that off. So I'm going to, as you can see, I have way more troops that I can start building, and I'm really gonna, I wanted to see what options I have here, at least first. But so let's talk about the different theaters of war and how I'm going to be doing these campaigns. So I'm going to be tabbing out, so if we lose the recording here, there might be a cut. But so how I'm going to be dealing with this is this is my playthrough checklist. I have to first scan all of my departments. This is I'm just going to look through them and see what updates there are. After that, I'm going to make immediate responses and changes to campaigns. This is something obvious, so if I need to make any immediate moves or different maneuvers to kind of continue my campaigns, I'll do that first. Then I'm going to plan campaigns, and these are going to be the body of my turns, I think. Everything is going to be centered around the campaigns that I choose, and I'm going to try and name them so that we can keep track of them together. So I have a couple of little tabs underneath the planning campaign step. I have to choose the objectives, I have to choose the forces, and then I have to answer these following questions. Are there any decisions this campaign can be supported by? And by decisions, I mean these babies. Does the campaign require additional units? How much of a priority is this campaign on a level of 1 to 5? What will happen if this campaign is defeated or abandoned? And I'm going to try and answer those. And then after I've answered those, I add the new campaign to the campaign list. I'm also going to be, after that, I build units according to the campaign plans. I have to choose decisions according to the campaign plans in response to the events. I have to check the strategic atlas decisions, which are these things. Then I have to check my supply so that people are fed and have bullet. Then I have to move my units in accordance to these campaign plans. And then I have to check my victory conditions. I need to see how I'm doing. That's this screen right here. I need to... Oh, I can also see how much foreign help. They're probably not going to get foreign help, but in this game, Fort Sumter never fell, so who knows? Maybe the British and French might get uppity. That would be really bad. I might be able to still win it, because the Union was pretty strong, but I'd rather not have to fight them. I've never seen a game with them intervene, but then again, I've never seen a campaign where Fort Sumter held, so that's going to be interesting. So let's get started with my campaigns. And I've broken these up into the different theaters. One of these theaters, I put it in, it's New England. Man, if I have to make a campaign in New England, things have gone really wrong. So we're going to avoid that one for now. Most of them are going to be in the Mid-Atlantic, which is this pink one. This first campaign that I'm thinking of is going to be... And I'm going to move the mic, and hopefully it doesn't fall over. All right, so the first campaign that I'm thinking of doing is the campaign to take Manassas. So, well, it's not just Manassas. It's really this area here. I want to push the Confederacy behind the Rappahannock River, which is this river right here. So I want to take Leesburg, Manassas, Falmouth, and Warsaw. So those are my objectives for the Army of Northeastern Virginia. and I think they should be sufficient. So I'm not going to add any additional forces to that, at least initially. So we're going to call this the Manassas campaign, or the first Manassas campaign. We'll see how we go. So first Manassas, the objective is Manassas, Leesburg, Falmouth, and Warsaw, and to defeat the Confederacy. And I'd like to defeat the army of the CSA Army of Potomac if I can. The forces are going to be, I'm going to use the Army of Northeastern Virginia, and that should be fine for now. Okay. I'm misspelling Northeastern. Excuse the delay, because I'm big stupid. All right. So that's my first campaign. So the first Manassas campaign. The second campaign I want to do in the Mid-Atlantic is, and let me answer those questions. Are there any decisions in the campaign that can be supported, that this campaign can be supported by? Let's check. Build defensive works will be useful because I want to build some in Manassas. This is a good center point for me to hold, and Falmouth too if I can get away with it. I don't think I'm going to be able to build, I don't think I'm going to need any other decisions for this. Does this campaign require... No. How much a priority of this campaign is? I think this is my most priority. This is the biggest army that the Confederacy has. I need to make a big offensive here to defeat them. What will happen if this campaign is defeated or abandoned? If it's defeated, I could lose Alexandria, but I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, if it's defeated, I may lose Alexandria, or they may make it advance up into Pennsylvania, but I think even if I do lose a decisive battle, I'll be able to hold Alexandria with the defeated army, like historically happened at Manassas when the Union fled back to Manassas. If it's abandoned, I'll just have to build up the forces and try a different campaign in the future. So that's that campaign. The next one that I want to do is the first Shenandoah Valley campaign. I'm just going to call it the first Valley campaign, just for my brain. And the objective of this is going to be defensive, actually. I want to hold Fredericktown. I don't think I'm going to be able to make an advance into the valley quite yet. They have a pretty strong force there under Johnston, and what I've seen happen a couple of times is that the Confederacy will actually concentrate this force with this one and then attack Fredericktown. So I really want to hold the Potomac and kind of dissuade them from doing that. While it might seem to your advantage to have the Confederacy move up in this area, because you can make big advances into this territory, it's not a huge good thing, because, I mean, you can try and cut them off, but they're going to just pull back, and they're going to do it quick enough that any advances here can be outflanked by any force that gets sent here. So I really just want to hold here. I don't want them to make a big push, so, and I'm going to be building an army here, which I'm going to be calling, which will be probably named the Army of the Potomac. And this will need some troops, so I'm going to note that I need troops. So, yeah. I think those are my campaigns in the mid-Atlantic area. Over here in the Old Northwest, which is this one right here, you can see that they have some troops here in West Virginia. I'm going to get some troops that are spawned here, and I think those will be sufficient to hold here, and when they spawn, I'll really determine that, those campaigns. But for now, I really don't want to lose Wheeling, or Hancock, or Morgantown. Because, well, I don't want to lose Wheeling, and I don't want to lose Morgantown, because that'll let them try and make an advance into Pittsburgh. But they do try and get some raiders through this territory, so holding the Ohio River is really important. I'm not going to be making a lot of offensive moves in this area because it's not fun to make offensives in West Virginia. In this part of the department, as you can see, this is where McClellan started. He had some pretty successful stuff in Cincinnati. I don't remember exactly what he did, but the battles he fought in this area is why he eventually became the commander of the whole Union Army. So, this area right now I've got a neutral Kentucky in the way, so I don't have to worry about it a ton. But if that should change, I will have to worry about it. And over here we've got the Northwest, which is Illinois. I want to hold it. I do want to make advances in this area, but I don't have any troops for it yet. When they kind of come in, I'll explain what I'm going to do here a little bit more. Some of them might be starting to spawn, as you can see here. But yeah, alright. I think those are good for the campaigns now. I'm going to start going through my checklist again. So that's my campaigns for this turn, I think. We've got the first Manassas campaign and the first Valley campaign. I'm sure there will be more. So I have to build new units in accordance to the campaign plan. So I'm going to start building my army for the Valley in the West. And I can do that. I think I'm going to build... I could build some... I do also want to start building up my navy so that I can take on the Confederacy at sea. So I might do that. That's going to eat up a lot of my money. So that'll be about half of what I'm going to have. So I'm going to build one at Boston, and that'll be enough for the Navy that turn. And then I'm going to build... I don't want more ships. I would like some infantry and some artillery and some cavalry. So I'm going to build some infantry brigades in New York. I'll build 2 to start with, and I'll build a Zouave regiment 2. And then I'd like to build some artillery in New York, and that'll be a pretty good. Eventually, I'm gonna make a division out of that, but that'll be pretty good for now. I also want to build some volunteers out west to eventually be part of those campaigns out there. So we'll go to the west. Actually, you know what I'd rather do is I'd like to make some cavalry units. If I can find. Guess I don't have that option quite yet. I could build some in Ohio. That's actually a good idea. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to build some cavalry here, and I might send these that cavalry. I need to be able to patrol this area and prevent raiders from getting behind my lines, especially up here, because the Confederacy loves sending troops up the river, or at least trying to. I'm going to try and prevent that with my brown water navy, but they like to get into your back lines, and if you're not careful, they will. So I'm going to build that cavalry, and hopefully that will help me patrol either this area if I need to, or the west. Alright, that's all the money I have, and I'm not going to raise any taxes or anything like that quite yet. Schurz hasn't gotten there yet. Okay, 2 days he'll get there. Shouldn't he... I'm going to put him in with the Maryland Volunteers, and maybe I can get him to rebuild this rail line. Yes, cool. I really need this line rebuilt. That's why it's taking you shirts. I keep mispronouncing that guy's name. That's why it took him so long to get there, because he had to go a roundabout way. I want to think of where I'm going to send these Marines. I need to choose decisions. Sorry, I'm not keeping to my checklist already, which is bad. I need to do that. I think I'm going to build defensive works. I don't really have the money for... I'm going to build defensive works in Alexandria, or Fairfax, rather, but it will be in Alexandria. And I'm going to go back out west and see if there's any trails I can open up. Doesn't look like it. I could scorched earth places that I control, but that seems like a bad idea. Okay. Alright. Are there any strategic atlas decisions I want to take? Also, in the future, I'm probably going to cut these down. But just for now, I'm going to make you watch. Check the supply. Everything should be fine. I don't need to bother there. I need to move units in accordance to campaign plans. Let's see what units I can actually move. I've got some militia in Cairo. Don't want to move them quite yet. They're going to hold. And then I've got some brigades here. I think I'm going to give this guy a general. I'm going to give him Erasmus. Oh no, actually, he's got pretty low seniority. I'm going to put him back in the general. I think I'm going to send Wood with the Washington Brigade to Frederick to hold there. No, I take it back. I'm going to send Shields, and I'm going to turn Frederick into a fortress. Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. That's a pretty powerful unit. So that'll get there in 3 days, same time as Schütz. So that should be able to help secure that area. I'll kind of give an appropriate army there. I have to figure out where I want to deploy the Marines. I'm considering sending them all the way down to I want to hold Norfolk if I can, but it's pretty unlikely. I could also send them to Fort Sumter, which isn't a terrible idea, but we'll see. I think I'm going to hold off. Is my Navy in... Is the Atlantic Fleet ready yet? No. I need to wait 2 turns. So I think I'm going to wait 2 turns for the main fleet to be ready. And once that's ready, I will make use of them. Alright, this is just some organizational stuff that I'm doing now. Alright, I think that's sufficient for this turn. Let's move on. Now that I'm bombarding my Hampton Roads. That was where, you know, the Merrimack and the Monitor fought. Check our events. Hey, Lincoln has finally been inaugurated. That's great. St. Louis Massacre. Oh. Oh, okay. This is Captain Nathaniel Lyon is actually really talented. He arrested the state militiamen. His inexperienced soldiers clashed with hostile civilians. Gunfire was both heavy. Alright, yeah. That wasn't great. That has some pretty bad loyalty. I'm going to have to fix that. I think I'm going to declare martial law in St. Louis. I want that loyalty on my side, and St. Louis is so important, so don't want that to happen. Martial law has been declared in Maryland. That's not great, but, you know, that'll help me. As you can see, they have some pretty terrible loyalty, and I need to improve that. But I have 100% military control. And North Carolina has seceded. I wonder why. It's almost like they were bound to do that anyway. Alright, so let's look at the situation. The Washington Brigade has been moved out to Fredericktown. I want them to be defending this area. I don't want them in the city. Patterson Command has formed in the west, or at least in West Maryland. It's really starting to be West Virginia. And I've got some cavalry, a defense force with the 10th Virginia, and these two forces have made some advances. They're probably not very powerful, but I'm going to have to decide how I want to defend this area. Got some more volunteers here from Lyon, who I'm going to keep back there for now. I want to send these. I'll hold them here for now. Alright, so let's go check out here. Kansas is still neutral. The supplies are finished, and I'm going to, before I make any of the decisions, I'm going to send them to St. Louis. I want to put them in with Lyon. Okay, out here, none of our cavalry has activated yet, and sorry, I'm just taking a look at all the little blue squares. We still have a fort down here, Fort Pickens. We do have some blockades. None of these guys have activated yet. Nothing in California has activated yet either. I just hope to hold California. I don't really think I need to make a ton of advances. There are some native tribes here that are in my back lines, but we'll deal with them later. So, back to the Mid-Atlantic. I think that all of our campaigns are fine for now. Here, I think they're sufficient. Let's take a look at over here. So, I've got these troops here. The West Virginia Defense and the West Virginia Cavalry. I think I'm going to move the cavalry to... Alright, let's make... We're going to call this campaign the... this is in the Old Northwest. We're going to call this campaign the First Ohio River. And the objectives are to prevent any Confederate. I want to prevent any Confederate force from getting into Ohio or crossing the Ohio River. Okay. And the forces that I'm going to use are the 10th West Virginian Cav and the West Virginia Defense Force. I may need reinforcements, but right now I don't know if I'm gonna, so I'm gonna just use that for now. The Patterson Command, I think I'm actually going to throw that into the mix. And my plan is to, I'm going to hold, I want to hold Taylor, West Virginia, and Morgantown, Wetzel, and Washington, Ohio, and Gallia. So I'm going to send the 10th West Virginia to Gallia, and they should be able to hold that river, or at least prevent troops from crossing there. And then I'm going to send the West Virginia Defense Force to Weitzel, and they will hold there. They're going to get there very quickly. For now, Washington I'm going to leave undefended, but I'm probably going to get some units spawned in. When do I get these guys? I get these guys in a turn. Alright. That should be good for now. I think I'm going to send Hamilton to Weitzel to take command of the West Virginia Defense.